Alright guys, I'm here with Sam, checking out his LP610, a Lamborghini, if y'all don't know what that is. It's white. What year is it, Sam?
2015.
And tell the people, what is a 610? Why is it a 610? What does that mean?
So 610 stands for the amount of horsepower that's measured at the crank. So it's 610 crank horsepower.
Nice.
And then the dash 4 means it's all-wheel drive.
Oh, okay, so four-wheel drive, okay. So what kind of wheels we got here?
So these wheels are actually Performante wheels. The previous owner took the original OEM wheels off and put on these from the Performante trim, which was out in like 2018. So
is there a difference in horsepower on the Performante and the just regular 610?
There is. So the Performante puts out 640 horsepower at the crank, if I recall correctly.
Okay.
Which is the most you can push out of this naturally aspirated engine.
Oh, nice. Okay. What about this front end? Is this the?
So yeah, the 610 has this bumper.
Tell people what is a 610. Which model? Because they're.
Yeah. So the 610 is the all-wheel drive model.
But is it a Huracan? Is it a Marcelica?
So the Huracan comes in two trims: 610-4 and a 580-2.
Okay.
So this bumper is only on the 610-4. There's a differently styled bumper for the 580-2. That's how you can tell them apart, and also the badging on the side.
Oh, okay. All right, let's come around this side here. And those brake pads.
Yeah, so these are actually all stock brake pads, stock rotors. The calipers are painted in red. It's pretty dirty right now. I can't remember how big. I think these are something like 19 inches, something ridiculous like that.
Yeah. All right. And then I see you added this spoiler since the last time I saw it.
Yeah, so this is a spoiler off Vorsteiner. They're an aftermarket company that specializes in exotics. And so I got this probably back in December. It's a wet carbon fiber.
Nice.
Just adds a nice little subtle touch to it. In my opinion, the Huracan needs some sort of wing, but I didn't want to go too large, you know.
Yeah. All right. So Sam is letting me drive his Lambo. First time driving a Lamborghini. Sam, hopefully living heaven.
We got insurance.
I got insurance, but it's kind of limited, so I gotta get the bare minimum.
Only half the car?
No, I'm good. You'll be all right. I'm a safe driver for the most part.
So
where's my drive?
So there is no drive in this car. To put it in drive, you actually you pull on the paddle.
So like put it in gear.
Yeah, basically that puts it in gear. Yep.
Feels comfortable. I can see myself driving this thing.
How tall are you?
16.
That's probably like the tallest someone can be to fit in this car. Yeah.
No, I actually feel pretty good. Maybe it's just I feel comfortable because it's a Lambo. But I feel. What would I turn around? You going?
Yeah, just bang a UE here if you can. So it's like a motorcycle. See on the steering wheel on the left-hand side, on the steering wheel.
Oh, right here.
And then yeah,
Okay, yeah, I had a motorcycle.
And then take a right, follow these cars.
I gotta say, like, this is the fastest car I've ever driven. But you know what? I feel comfortable. Like this is my natural habitat.
It's a very easy car to drive.
It is. It's like it's fun. It's not as bumpy as I thought it would be driving.
And it's in sport, so
if you're thinking about getting a Lambo, shit. This is definitely a yes for me. I agree. I'm guessing here you don't really need to look back. You just need to worry about what's in front of you guys. I think it's behind you.
you can look at the rear view. There's like no visibility at all.
Yeah, I can see a piece of the engine there.
Yeah.
It's kind of sensitive to just touch it.
super smart, smart.
The whole time when I was sitting on the side, I thought you were doing it like.
No.
But is it like revving it? Is it like downshift?
Yeah, so it downshifts automatically, and then it shoots more fuel in, and
like it holds the RPM.
Yeah.
Instead of lowering it.
Basically it's igniting it. It's running rich, ignites it later on in the exhaust, causing the pop. So a lot of people think like I'm being an asshole. I'm really not. That's just how the car is.
Yeah.
This is actually a Lamborghini exhaust. It's the race exhaust that they sell. $13,000 option, but it's not aftermarket. It's not, anything
you can add.
Yeah, I mean, no. Unless you can find someone who took their race exhaust off, you can't buy it. Yeah. And,
well, Sam, if you ever need a car sitter or we need a garage for your car, let me know.
All right.
I'll take good care of it. I would have experience. Lost my Lambo virginity. All right, guys. So, show you guys like that Lambo. I must say that's probably Porsche that I drove in the last video was awesome, but this is like, I mean, come on, it's almost twice as much horsepower. So can't argue. Nick, nice car, but I'm sorry. But I know you're trying to get one, so it's all good. But anyway, that was a Lambo. Hopefully you guys liked the video. A really nice ride. If you think about getting one, just do it. Stop thinking about it. So I met Sam here a couple years ago. I was at a friend's party, and we just kind of like, follow each other on Instagram and Facebook and stuff. And then he got an R8 like a year ago, or a little over a year ago. So I came to check it out, and now he's got a Lambo, the LP610. And I'm sure you're wondering from the video screen or whatever, you probably clicked on the video because you're wondering how did you go from being a college dropout to owning a Lambo. I mean, most people that drop out of college probably working at Walmart or Best Buy or some kind of warehouse. And I'd say they're lucky. Some people don't even have jobs right now. So we're going to talk a little bit about what Sam does, how he did it, and what you guys can do so you can get to the point where you can afford a freaking Lamborghini at age...
I'm 26.
26, yeah. Guys. How many of you guys do you know 26 that own a Lambo? I know I can have one. But anyway, so tell us, Sam, what is it that you do?
Yeah.
And kind of give us a little background on this whole dropping out of college, and did you go back? Did you just start a business?
Yeah.
How'd you do it?
So right now I work at General Motors. I lead a marketing technology engineering team. So really fancy way of saying I lead a bunch of software developers.
So there's probably a lot of people that are wondering why is it or how is it that you started off from the bottom, pretty much doing what you went to school for, and learn, the basic stuff, and now you get to the point where you're a vice president. What is it? What's the secret? If somebody else is out there, they're at a 9-to-5 job, but they hate it, they're miserable, they're trying to get promoted.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's plenty of people that think they work hard and they do their best, but they don't even get noticed. Promotion comes up and nobody even considers them. So what do you think made it for you?
So for me personally, the advice that I took and the advice that I give everyone else is do your next job now. So don't wait for your boss to tell you what other things you could be doing. Don't wait for someone else and your peers to tell you. Just go out and do it. If you see a better way of doing things, or if you see that you can save the company X amount of money, or you can gain the company X amount of revenue, go out and do those things. There's no boss or any leader who's going to say or reprimand you for doing more than what your job asked you to do, right?
That's true.
As a leader now, I hope my team goes above and beyond, right?
Right.
And then the folks that do that, I look at them next for promotions, right? In corporate environments, promotions are typically, there's a period of time when you can do it, you have to budget for it, you can only have so many.
Right.
And so it's tough for us. There could be 5 people who deserve it, but maybe only 3 actually can get it because of just so many constraints in the corporate world. And we're going to be looking at the people who've already, essentially have had the experience of that next job now.
Right. But we can see that they already know how to do it.
Right? I mean, it probably sucks to hear, and doing a job that you're not getting paid for, expand your responsibilities. That sucks. I mean, but that's the way I was able to go farther in my career in a short amount of time, because I've only been at my company for 3.5 years, and I've been promoted twice.
Sorry for the cake.
Hey, get down.
That's so good.
Yeah, so I've only been at GMF. I mean, I moved to Dallas for this job,
Right.
and that was in 2017. So I've only been there for 3.5 years and promoted twice, and now I'm responsible for 13 employees. So it's a pretty crazy story. Even if that new role, like
Right.
in my current field, like the last 2 promotions, I wrote the job descriptions for, because they were ready to promote me, and they're like, you do so many things, we don't know what you do. Like,
There was a position for you.
there's no position, yeah. I essentially created, like the current job I have now, I wrote the job description, I created the title,
Nice.
and I took just pretty much control of my destiny there, right?
Yeah.
And so, of course, I've been afforded, great leaders that who trust me enough to do that, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I say there's definitely a little bit of chance there. I mean, if you have a boss who just hates you, I mean, it's probably not gonna happen. But in those situations, my advice is go find another job. We live in a world where you don't have to be at the same job for decades out.
Right.
There's no pensions, there's no loyalty there, especially right now in Corona. People are getting laid off left and right,
Yeah.
right? There's no loyalty right now, so you shouldn't have the same loyalty to a corporation. If
Right.
there's a better opportunity out there, go for it.
Yeah, that's one thing. I think people a lot of times when they've been with a company for 5, 10 years, they tend to get comfortable. They like working with the people, and even though they're not growing, they stay there because they're comfortable.
Yeah. That's a problem I see with a lot of people these days. It's just people feeling so comfortable that they think there's loyalty there. And in a corporate environment, you can't believe that, because unfortunately, we have to put the company's best interest at first. And
Right.
if that means cutting our person who makes a lot of money because they've been there 10 years and been getting merit raises year after year after year, we've got to make that
And
call.
somebody that just came in fresh out of college is getting paid like a tenth of what they get paid.
Yeah, and they're doing the same amount of
doing
work.
the same thing.
And that's where it comes, right? You want to be able to prove like, hey, I've been doing X, Y, and Z. That's why I deserve not only my current role, but my next role as well, right?
Oh, that makes sense.
And even like in, personal life, I see a lot of people getting comfortable in relationships, right? If you're not always like pushing it or challenging yourself, like you get comfortable, and like even if you're not happy, then you don't leave because you're comfortable, right? And but you're unhappy, right?
Yeah, I think that's something that you can apply to just about any aspect of your life, not just your job. I mean, relationships, I think that's a real big one where you need to constantly be, doing more than just the bare minimum. Just the title of this video, talks about you having been a dropout.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about that. Did you?
Yeah.
You said you went back finally and got another.
Yeah,
career done.
so I went to school originally for mechanical engineering. I'm obviously a big car guy. I didn't start off with a Lambo. My family doesn't have money. My first car was a salvage title Mitsubishi Lancer that we rebuilt and got a rebuilt title for. So like I'd always been involved in like mechanics. So I went to school for mechanical engineering, but I went to, this is kind of my first time going out of the nest.
Right.
Got involved in party life, joined a fraternity, never went to class, and so my grades slipped, and I eventually got put on probation. They expelled me from the school, and what I kind of had like a aha moment was, one, mechanical engineering wasn't really for me.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was going to be something else, but when I went to the classes, when I did actually go to class, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And I had always been good with software programming or software engineering. As a kid, I would like just Google search tutorials, and I learned a lot on my own. So the reason why I never picked that as my major was I thought it was going to be a really boring job, just sitting in front of a computer 9 to 5, just coding away. It's not what I wanted to do with my life. But at that point, I really didn't have any options. Like for me, I knew that's what I was good at, and I said, all right, I'm going to switch my major. So what I ended up doing was I ended up going to a bunch of community colleges. I like enrolled into like 5 or 6 online classes. So I managed a full-time job. I was a bank teller. I'd be doing my online classes while I was like in between customers. And I transferred them all to like a commuter school. So I moved back home, obviously. save money, live with my parents, and it was just, you know, for a year and a half, just school. School was like the most important thing to me. Unfortunately, like in this field, you need a degree with most companies to even get your resume looked at.
Yeah.
I mean,
I want to take a step back there for a second. You talked about how you moved back with your parents. You know, and I think that's something that a lot of people are afraid to go back, take a step back in their life because they feel like it's an embarrassment. You know, like, oh, like, you know, I don't want to be an inconvenience to my parents or my family. You know, when somebody is in the point in their life where things aren't going well, they're not moving forward, they're struggling. A lot of times people are scared to take a step back and be like, you know what, I'm not doing well on my own. Let me get some help. Maybe somebody can like watch my kids. Maybe I can move back with my parents in the meantime while I finish school or while I'm, you know, finishing this program. And you know, the fact that you went back to school or went back to your parents' house after you went to school, you know, you kind of left the nest and then you came back to the nest. You know, people see it as a bad thing. You know, they think you're going back in life, but really, if you're going back so that you can move forward, take a step forward from where you were, it's actually a good idea. You'll save yourself a lot of money, save yourself a lot of heartache, a lot of stress, and in the end, you're gonna be a lot better off than if you just stayed in that same position and continued to struggle.
right, and it kind of goes back to just being, you know, comfortable, right?
Right.
You know, if you're doing the same thing over and over again, nothing is changing. I'm pretty sure that's like the definition of insanity, right? Like you're expecting different results. You have to do something different. Right. And yeah, it was embarrassing at first to say, yeah, you know, I got expelled. I'm moving back with my parents. Like it felt like a huge setback in my life.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think it's partly because our society says, hey, after high school, you need to know exactly what you need to do with your life. Move out, go to college, and go, you know, 4 years and get a degree. And I think that needs to really change. We need to change that conversation to be like, hey, if you need to take a break, go work different industries, see like what they have to offer, or you know, stay with your parents, go to community college, save money. Like I would recommend everyone now, like having gone through this, go to community college for the first 2 years. Take a bunch of different classes.
Nobody's gonna care when you go get your interview, like, oh, it looks like you took your math at this community college. You know,
right?
It's irrelevant. Nobody's gonna care.
Yeah, even beyond that, after your first job, like I don't even like look at colleges on people's resumes anymore.
Yeah, you look at what they can prove that they can do.
Yeah, it's all about what can you do. It's not about like where you went to school. Like if you went to Harvard, that doesn't impress me. And I think I also probably have a biased view because of my like background.
Right.
But in general, I mean, schools these days are actually like in the software. I can only speak for the software industry, but they're really behind. The software changes so quickly.
Right.
Every 3 weeks, there's a new technology coming out. There's a new thing that you need to learn, and it's impossible for professors to keep up. Like when I went back to school, like the stuff I learned online from years ago was already ahead of the coursework. And I was pretty much teaching the class. Like it got crazy. Like the professor was blown away with my like final project. She was like, "Wow, you built this?" And I was like, "Yeah, like it wasn't that hard." And so it just goes to show you that like school isn't the epitome of knowledge, in my opinion. Especially in this day and age of you've got YouTube to teach you, you've got podcasts to learn.
So much free knowledge.
So much free knowledge and different perspectives. That's the other thing. Is like, people have different opinions, and you have to be okay with that. And that's the best way to learn, I think. Yeah. Is take a little bit from everybody.
Well, I think we've gone over on our time here in this video. Is there anything else any advice you want to give? If you want to give one last advice, this is the advice to the world. All the guys. This is a guy channel mainly, so all the guys that are out there, anything in life, or any advice you would give, if you were telling yourself something that you wish you had known sooner, what advice would you give?
It's not a race. Like, you know, what people have, money, wealth, status, whatever, someone's always going to have more, right? It doesn't matter, right? And what you need to focus on is yourself being happy with what you have. It's if you constantly try to outdo the next person, you're going to constantly be sad. You're going to be unhappy with life. You're always going to feel like you're behind. And that's not a great way to live life. Like,
you're miserable.
You'll be miserable. Like, there's no, like, I know people who just constantly are just eyeing other people and other celebrities, and like,
you don't know what their life is behind the scenes and like what it really is to do all that stuff, right? To have all that stuff.
Right.
I think something I've also learned is like, more money you have, more problems you have. Like it doesn't make life easier in that sense. Can it make it more comfortable?
Enjoyable.
Like give you access to different things? Absolutely. But does it make you happier? Hell no. Absolutely not. Money is just, it'll be here today, be gone tomorrow.
You'll learn to appreciate the things that you have. Alright guys, well thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the Lambo. And hopefully you guys got a good lesson from Sam here. And if you got any more questions, I'm gonna link his, he's got a YouTube channel. He's gonna start those up again.
Yeah, I need to get on that.
Yeah, he's got an Instagram, Lambo Sam, and Sammy
Kumar.
Sammy Kumar. I'll put those all down there in the description. But anyway guys, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video. And like I said last time, be the best version of yourself because nobody else can do it for you.